Hey, and welcome to the Izzy Chinche Show. Obviously, drinking is not good for you. It's not a healthy thing. Diet sodas aren't good for you either. But if you're trying to stay fit and trying to stay lean, there's 0 calories in diet sodas and stuff. I am so pumped that you tuned in. My goal with the show is to inspire and motivate you to the best of my abilities. I believe our world needs more leaders, and I believe that you, my listener, are a leader, and that you have the opportunity to impact your community and family by simply being you. I truly am here to try and serve and offer value to your life. And if you enjoy the show, it would mean the most to me if you could please either rate, subscribe, or share the show with anyone who you think might benefit from listening. Together, we can make this world a better place. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you love today's episode. Welcome. I'm excited. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know I have been teasing about this podcast for a little bit, hinting at what it's going to be, what I'm going to talk about, and why I'm going to talk about it. So today's episode is how to stay fit on vacation while drinking. And the reason I have come up with this podcast is because fitness is very important to me. It's a big part of my life. And I try and inspire people to work out. I think it's important to work out, but it's also fun to travel and go on vacation. And for me, drinking is something that is still part of my life and something that I like to do for fun and on occasions. And I was on my honeymoon 2 weeks ago because I got married, obviously, which is amazing. But to Mitchell and I, fitness is really important, and staying healthy is really important, and staying in shape is really important. And it's also very important for us to have fun. So getting some practical tips for how to merge both those, right? Like the fun plus the drinking plus staying fit and healthy and keeping your mind where it needs to be. Like, we need more content around that because everything's so extreme. It's either this or that. It's either like you drink or you're completely sober, but where's like the in between, and how do you stay fit while you're on vacation? Why, like, some people go on vacation and they're just like, I'm on vacation. So then they just throw everything out the door, and then they're just super unhealthy for a bunch of days in a row, which feels kind of poopy in my opinion. So that is why I'm doing this podcast, and I hope it brings you a lot of value. Okay. So number one, my first tip for staying fit on vacation while drinking is to not skip your workouts. Do not skip your workouts. And the thing is, when you're on vacation, you have a lot of time, right? You're on vacation. You don't have a bunch of to-dos. At least that's how I vacation. Like, maybe you have some events on some days or whatever. But for the most part, you're chilling. For me, it's chilling on the beach or by the pool. Like, that's vacation mode for me, all right? So if you're similar, that means that you have a lot of time. So really, there's no reason to be skipping your workouts. So every morning while we were there, Mitchell and I got up early. Actually, that's not true. He got up earlier than I did. And he would be like, when is she going to wake up? So he would get up before me, and then we'd get up, and then we'd go to the gym, and we'd hit our workout. And we tried to stay close to the normal kind of workout routine that I stay on when I'm not, like, just throughout my week. I was like, okay, what would technically today be? It was like, today was technically leg day. So I'm like, all right, I hit legs. And then the next day I was like, push, pull, whatever it is, just kind of stick to it and be flexible, right? Because when you travel, a lot of the places that you go to, like, they will have gyms, they will have places that you can work out, but they're probably not going to have everything that's normally a part of your routine. And that's when it's really crucial to just be flexible, right? Just be flexible and be like, okay, they don't have that, and not be like, oh, well, they don't have everything I need, just scratch it all. No, an in between, and even a half-assed workout is better than no workout. And I don't care what people say, like, no, you got to go balls. No, a half-assed workout is better than no workout, right? So even if it's not as great, at least you're getting the workout in. And there's like a couple reasons for that. For one, I feel like I want to earn the right to be like sitting on my butt and drinking a margarita by the pool, right? I want to be like, okay, I earned that. I don't feel like so gross. Also, working out gives you more energy anyway. So if I didn't work out and then I was just laying around all day, my energy would absolutely tank. Okay, so the first one is to work out, and that's within the fitness place. There's another couple pieces of advice that I have for like just staying fit. And the next thing is to just use every opportunity to walk that you can, right? And also like taking stairs, like cut the elevator, take the stairs. You'd be surprised in a day how much all of those things together kind of add up. Like if you're taking the stairs like 6 times versus the elevator every single time, or, you know, you're like, because sometimes it's like, oh, that's too far, I don't want to go there. But then if you just think about it as like, well, I'm getting extra steps in, I'm getting some movement, then you're like, all right, I'll go do that. The other thing is to take walks, especially if you're at the beach. I keep saying the beach because like if I go vacation somewhere, I pretty much always go to the beach. But if you're like a city person or something, that's great. Like don't Uber everywhere, try and walk more or whatever it is. But for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to the beach. So walks on the beach, divine, and a great way to get extra steps in. The third piece kind of under the umbrella of actual movement and fitness is to play some sort of sport, play some sort of game. Even if you're not an athlete or whatever, it's so fun to play a game. Like we played volleyball on the beach and I was sweating bullets, but I was also moving. It was giving me endorphins. I was getting pumped up. I was like, yes, I have more energy to enjoy this vacation. And whether that's volleyball, soccer, tennis, whatever, try and throw some like physical activity in so it doesn't feel like fitness, but it's like at least you're working out. You're getting some sort of movement in, but it doesn't feel like you're literally doing it just to work. Like it's actually fun. And I just recommend that for people like in their lives. Like I know some people like they hate going to the gym. I'm like, don't go to the gym then. Join a volleyball league. Play volleyball a couple times a week. Play soccer, like play a sport instead. If you know you hate the gym, first of all, I think it's really important to weight train, so we should probably work on that. But like, don't force yourself to just do that out of nowhere, because then that's going to be no good. When I'm trying to encourage people, especially people who are not into fitness, they're not working out, they're out of shape, I think one of the worst things that you can do is just be like, doesn't matter, suck it up, go get in the gym. Some people will respond well to that. There's a lot of people though that are like, they're so intimidated, they don't know how the machines work, they don't know what to do, so it's like, okay, let's join a class of some sort to start and just get kind of familiar with even the concept of working out. Some people actually just can't even understand that. They have a really bad relationship with that. So I encourage a lot of people like, okay, find an activity that is active that doesn't feel gruesome to you. And for some people, that's like so many different things. Like there's so many random things that require movement that are not working out per se, but you're exerting a lot of energy, so you are working out. So that's just a random little tip right there. So play a sport, get your steps in, and don't skip your workouts. That's under the first umbrella. All right. So the second thing is the actual drinking itself, right? Because it's important to do all the fitness and everything and not throw that out the door because you are on vacation. So you're probably going to be eating more things that you're typically out, like not a part of your diet, and you're going to be drinking. At least I am. And if you're listening to this, you're probably someone who drinks on vacation. All right. So with the drinking, the first rule is to cut drinks with sugar in them. It's just so many useless calories. The chances of you getting sick are so much higher once you mix sugar and alcohol. It's like the worst combo. It's so many extra calories. It waters down the drink. Like there's just so many reasons. So cut the sugar out of your drinks. So there's a couple ways to go about this. So for me, I stick to 2-part drinks pretty much always. And that is a tequila soda or a vodka soda with a lot of lime. And that way I'm literally just getting the calories of whatever the liquor is. If you really like darker liquor, a great one is to do like Jack and Diet sodas. Obviously, drinking is not good for you. Like it's not a healthy thing. Diet sodas aren't good for you either. But if you're trying to stay fit and trying to stay lean, there's much less calorie. There's 0 calories in diet sodas and stuff. So I always ask, like sometimes if I want some sort of flavor, I'm like, do you have Diet Sprite? Another really good one is like Diet Cranberry. It has like 5 calories in it, and I love cranberry juice. I like tequila cranberry and vodka cranberry. So that's a great one. A lot of time they won't have that many diet juices or soda options. Typically they'll always have Diet Coke, but not all the other options. So that is why it's great to stick to your 2-part drinks. And here's the other thing. I'm going to get heat for this one. I already know. Stick to shots. Stick to shots. Like, I was like, one of the days I had been eating, we've been hanging out and everything. I was like, I do want to drink, but I don't want all the calories of drinks, so I'm just going to have a shot of tequila. And that's exactly what I did. And I cut all the calories that I didn't need and just got straight to the business. I was like, I want a little buzz. Let's take a shot and go play volleyball. It's literally what we went and did. So it's really fun, but it's a great way to cut calories. I know some people are like, oh, I love my margaritas, blah, blah, blah. I had one margarita the entire time I was there. And honestly, it wasn't even worth it. I was like, okay, whatever. not really interested. So the more you can cut sugar out of your drinks, the better chance you have of eliminating a lot of extra calories. Because if you even like look at the details of like the sugar contents in a margarita, it's really, really high. And there's so many drinks, especially on your vacation. They always have like those fun, fancy, floofy drinks. And it's like, oh, wait, yeah, this drink has 700 calories in it, which is insane. So that's not where I'm going to waste my calories, because I'd rather eat more and eat yummy things than just drink a bunch of sugar. So that's why I stick to no sugar in your drinks. This is if you are trying to stay fit while you're on vacation, you're trying to stay lean. For me, I'm like always in a swimsuit, so I don't want to look all bloated and everything. So I'm like, no, we're cutting the sugar. Okay. The final phase of this is to get locked in on your food. And my first tip with food is to skip useless calories, empty calories. So this is carbs that typically just turn to sugar, metabolize as sugar in my body, okay? So bread. Bread is like the first one. And there is a reason that when you walk into restaurants, one of the first things that they are going to serve you is bread, because bread metabolizes as sugar. And so we eat the bread right when we sit down, and then we have about 45 minutes later, a little crash, a little blood sugar crash. We crash and we're like, what are we craving now? Dessert. And then they sell you dessert. So there's a reason that they have the methods that they do, as far as you sit down, they offer you bread. Okay. So every restaurant we went to on the resort, the first thing they did is ask if we wanted bread. There was one day I had like a little piece of it, and I was like, I didn't even want to do that. I just did it because it was right there. And I was like, nope, I'm good. And so we skipped the bread every time. If you're someone who like loves bread, I've gone through phases of that. I promise it's really easy to break the habit. If you just don't have bread in your house and you stop eating bread, you don't really crave it. Like, I do not crave bread. I used to, but I don't really eat bread anymore, because to me it's useless calories. There's no real protein in it. Like some types of bread have like 5 grams of protein in the slice, and then so much sugar. So skip the bread. And these rules are things that I just live by, kind of like when I am eating out. I try and play within these boundaries. So I try and not get the bread. And then once I'm like looking at the actual menu and what it is that I'm going to order, I always prioritize protein. And when you sit down at a restaurant, they typically are not going to tell you like the actual macros of the meal, because that's just weird. Maybe they do that at fast food restaurants. I think a lot of fast food restaurants, they do that actually, or you can look it up very easily. But I know enough about food to know like how much protein is in, a chicken breast, or I just know how to pick out the things that are going to have a lot of protein in them. Something that I will say that I like fall for, and that is something that I love, is pasta. But I know that pasta has like zero, it's like bread basically. So if I am going to get a pasta, I'm going to make sure that I add a protein, or that there already is a protein, so that I'm not having any protein, because in all my meals, I try and prioritize protein. So if I looked at the menu, the first thing I was going to look for, and like I said, this is if I'm just going out and eating like on a date or something, I'm going to look for something that's a whole food. And it's easy to guess what the protein count. So for me, this would be like a piece of salmon, chicken, Even steak. I don't eat steak that often. Steak has like double the calories of like a white meat. So I stick to either a white meat or a fish because it has way less calories and a really high protein. And so that's what I say too. So a lot of times it was just like I order chicken with a side of whatever they're going to give me. Now I will say the veggies at restaurants often taste so good for a reason. And that reason is because they're cooked in like so much butter. So that's one thing I recommend is just like saying hold the butter on my veggies if you're really trying to watch. I wasn't really trying to watch what I was eating that much. I was just trying to cut useless things and stick to whole foods, high protein. And so that's what I did for most of the meals. I got a solid, some sort of meat source and then the sides and then was fine from there. And then if I was going to have a drink, it was a vodka or tequila soda. And that way I could kind of stay within the boundaries. Another reason that I cut out bread is because I would way more want dessert over bread. Because for me, I'm like, bread, there's literally nothing there. At least when I have a bite of dessert, I'm like, oh yes, like it hits a spot in me. But I'm definitely not going to do both. I'm not going to do bread and dessert. And for some people, they're like, that's so restrictive. That's so what it just works for me. And it's what I like to do. And I like to look lean and I like to see my abs. So these are like the boundaries. Now I can be more flex if I'm not drinking, but especially if you're drinking, you got to watch what you're eating. Otherwise it's going to metabolize in a way that is not the best and just kind of hang on. And that's not what I want. Also, since no one comes at me here, I am not a nutritionist or any kind. This is just what works for me. So there's my disclaimer. So at the end of most meals, I like a little bite of dessert. Now I really don't like a lot of dessert because I'm not someone who just like loves so much sugar. And I try and stay away from sugar. So if I'm out on a date with Mitchell, we've literally gotten dessert maybe twice if we're actually on a date because it's just not where we put our calories. But I'm always going to split it with him. Just so that I'm not, if you both order your separate thing, you're way more likely to like both eat the whole thing. But if you're splitting it, you can be like, okay, you can have the rest, whatever. So I try and stay within that boundary. But I did have dessert at the end of pretty much every meal because they automatically served it. But I pretty much always split it and was able to just be like, okay, I don't really need that. I don't want any more. And again, this is just what works for me. I'm not saying like this is science and like the doctor told me all this. This is literally just what I do. And this is what works for me. Okay, so to recap, if you're trying to stay fit while you are on vacation and you are drinking, the first thing is to not skip your workouts. There's no reason to skip your workouts. You have so much time. You're on vacation, okay? Throw in whatever extra movement you can whenever possible. The second thing is to cut sugar from all your drinks. You don't need it. It does nothing for you. There's nothing good in sugar, like refined processed sugar. That's not good for you. And it doesn't mix well with alcohol. Your chances of getting sick are so much more likely. Third, with your food, cut out useless calories. So cut out calories that are going to metabolize as sugar. Cut out calories that don't have protein. Cut out bread, essentially. Most breads you don't need. They don't really do anything for you. Now, obviously, if you're a pretty high level athlete, you need to have some carbs and you need to have the glycogen and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you're trying to stay lean, like these are the things that I do and that worked for me. So I hope you liked today's podcast. I hope it was helpful for you. Please feel free to reach out to me via Instagram or my website. Links should be in the description, and I would love to connect. I'd love to hear your thoughts and if it added value and if there's any podcasts you think I should film. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you could share this episode with 5 people you think could benefit from the show. Also, please feel free to connect with me on Instagram at Izzy Chinche or my website at izzychinche.com. Thank you so much for being you. Keep being a leader and making this world a better place.